Hi, this is Chris, Video Game Dust Sleeves, and you're listening to the VGDS podcast with Bonesy06,
How's it going, everybody?
Dan Cab Dragon,
Hello, everyone.
Dizzy the Gamer Jit,
How's everybody doing?
and guest gamer JChip.
How's everyone doing?
As normal, for our segment Sleeve It or Leave It, first game is Twisted Metal, the greatest hits version. Bones, Sleeve It or Leave It.
Oh, why's it gotta be the greatest hits, man? Why's it gotta be the greatest hits? I just picked this game up, greatest hits, so yeah, I'm gonna sleeve it.
Dan.
I was never a huge fan of this series, so I
What?
actually will. Yeah, I would
I should
actually
slap you
pass.
for that.
Yeah,
Oh man.
How are you not Twisted Metal, man? It's
it
a
got
classic.
boring. You just drive around and shoot cars and stuff.
Wow. It's like
Gotta be
Mario.
multiplayer.
It's like Mario Kart on crack.
Hey, that's
Maybe-
a good analogy.
Maybe I got to go back and visit it again.
I
so.
think you should, and you should probably
don't,
do that.
Don't start with number one. Start with number two. Number one's is not that great of a game. I got it for the nostalgia, but number two is by far, in my opinion, one of the best.
You should
so.
do that couch co-op with somebody because you'll probably have
Yeah.
more fun.
All right,
Dizzy,
I'll put it down.
Yeah, that's
Dizzy.
what I was gonna say. It has to be played like you got to start with multiplayer. You have to have two people or more on that. But I would definitely sleeve it. But I would more than likely sleeve it with the original, not the greatest hits, just to cover up that green. Edge,
Oh,
you know?
another greatest hits hater.
I don't like it.
See, I knew Bandana should have made this podcast.
I wish he was here. I really wish. I wish he was here. J-Chip, sleeve it or leave it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sleep. I'm not gonna sleep this. If it was a black label, I would, but this green bull crap now.
Cover it with the sleeve.
Yeah, can you make? Yeah, change the label with the sleeve.
I could definitely do that. Next title, Dead or Alive 3, the Platinum Hits Edition. Bones, sleeve it or leave
Hell no, I'm skipping that shit.
it. Dan,
This I like Dead or Alive the series, but I don't think I would actually sleeve this game.
Dizzy,
I think it would pretty much make a good sleeve, especially in 3D. So yeah, I'd sleeve that.
J-Chip,
Yeah, I'm not really a big Dead or Alive fan, so probably gonna leave it.
and the next title is an actually a really huge seller, believe it or not. Wii Sports, maybe not this version, Nintendo Selects, but this is a really big seller. Bones, sleeve it or leave it.
This is tough. I want to say yes, but I feel like I will kick myself in the ass if I say yes. So I'm gonna go with no.
Dan,
I think I could sleeve this game. I mean, Wii Sports is like, classic for the Wii, but also my version, is in a little cardboard sleeve that came with the system, so that's not the most sturdiest thing of all. So I've been sleeving more of my cardboard sleeves, so I could see myself sleeving this one.
Dizzy,
If I were to sleeve it, it'd have to be like with the 3D tennis racket popping out the front. That's the only way that version of the Wii game's gonna look good. So only if the tennis racket's on the front.
J-Chip,
Yeah, I'll sleeve it. That's a classic.
even Nintendo Selects Edition.
I don't mind the Nintendo Select editions for the
Oh.
Wii and the Wii U.
Okay.
Hmm.
And the last title, Super Mario 64 Player's Choice. We'll see if J-Chip has a problem with this one. Bones, sleeve it or leave it.
Why we're gonna hate on this one too? I'm gonna sleeve this one. In fact, I already got it sleeved.
But this one's the million seller. It's the Player's Choice. That's why. Dan, sleeve it or leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have the Player's Choice version of this game. I'm not proud of it, but I mean, that's the version I have. But I have mine autographed, so I by Charles Minuet, the voice of Mario. So I would sleeve it just for that.
Dizzy,
I didn't even really know there was a player's choice for 64. Is there any difference in the box art on the cartridge?
it's just gold. And it has a million seller logo at the top.
Oh, then yeah, I'd sleeve that. That would look good.
JChip.
Yeah, it's sleeve. It's one of my favorite games of all time, so it definitely would get a sleeve.
All right. On to the next segment. Guess that box art. Bones, you got a guess for the first image?
Oh man, I have a funny feeling when the name is said, I'm gonna know it. But
You do know
Right
this.
yeah, Atomic Runner.
Yeah, you got it.
Ooh, man.
Yep, you got it.
That was quick.
Ding, ding,
That's
ding.
right. Nice. I pulled
Nice,
that one
man,
out my
yeah.
ass.
Yeah, he did.
I sure as hell did.
All right, next image. We'll go with Dan this time. Dan, you got a guess?
I think I know this one.
Do you?
So should
Okay.
we pass?
Yeah,
Or do we
I'll-
want to just guess it?
Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Is it Musha?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of the most expensive games on the Sega Genesis.
Yep. Musha? Is that how you pronounce it? Or
I say Musha, but I don't know what it is.
it's an MU.
Musha.
It's Musha. It's a MU, right? A Musha.
Yeah, MU.
Yeah, I pronounce it Musha, but
That was pretty quick. That was really quick.
Both of them.
One,
Dude, I
two,
still
and we're
can't
in
believe
order.
I guessed that.
What?
I did
On
just
that
recently
one-
have that case in my hands though. So
Yeah, on that
did-
one image, that's pretty iconic where I got it cropped at. So most people would probably pick up on that. Did you guys know that it was Atomic Runner?
Uh,
No.
No, I was gonna say Ultraman.
I was gonna say Judge Dredd PS1, but I know that was wrong.
yeah, damn.
Well, like if I have the game in my collection, and since I've gone after so much box art, I've become a little more aware of what's on a lot of the box art. Not all of it, because there's just too much box art out there, but it helps me when he puts these up here sometimes.
Yeah. Bones is going to be me by the time we're done all this. He's going to know all the box art.
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
That good. I am not that good.
All right, Bones.
Okay, the next section that we're going to go into, guys, is Logo Sleeve of the Month. And this month is our guest gamer, JChip's Logo Sleeve. Anybody would like to purchase one of these?
Nice.
Contact Chris, and he will hook you up on Instagram, YouTube. You do Twitter as well, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I
all
do
of them.
everything. Yep.
So hit him up. Another thing we'd like to know is, JChip, what game would you like to see inside your logo sleeve?
Well, if we have to go specific with NES, I would probably have to pick Blaster Master. That's one of my favorite NES games.
All right, it doesn't have to be specific because I could pretty much do any sleeve with your logo on it. So, what would you like sleeved? What would you want to see in your sleeve? What would you?
Definitely Resident Evil 2 for the N64.
Okay.
Nice.
Good one.
All right, Dan.
All right, franchise of the month. Yeah, we have the Red Label edition of franchise of the month is in honor of Bandana, who is not here, but we'll press on anyway. So I specifically chose the Red Label versions of this because we had talked about collecting quirks and and Red Label editions and Value Hits editions before. But anyways, that being said, our franchise of the month is God of War. I also picked this one because I know for sure that Chris has played this series, so he could definitely give us his opinion. But let's start with Bones. What do you think of this? What do you think of God of War? Are you a fan of it? Which ones do you like? And what are your overall thoughts about it?
I only ever played the first two. So that's it for my experience on it, and I didn't even beat either one of them. I probably spent more hours watching a buddy play through the game than playing it myself. What I did play, I enjoyed. Graphically, it was really nice for the time. I just never got into any of the new ones. I do own a bunch of the God of Wars. I probably own all of them except the PSP one I don't own. And whatever that last one is.
What?
Well, that hasn't come out yet. That's the next one coming out.
Okay. About 6. I've never even heard of that.
I don't know.
Oh no, I mean I think it's a good franchise. I could definitely see myself getting into the other ones I picked up. That's why I was glad to add them into my collection. I just have not actually partaken in that.
All right. Let's go down the list. And how about Dizzy? Are you a God of War fan? And if so, which of the series is your favorite?
Well, I have the greatest hits for PS2, 1 and 2. I haven't gotten into it yet. It's definitely on my backlog. I know T Belly said this is one of his favorite games, so I definitely want to eventually play it. But it's I got a huge backlog of games to play, so this one's on there, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But the box art, seeing other people play for a little bit, definitely makes me want to play it eventually. The graphics look good, and it looks like a crazy game where you're slashing a lot of stuff, so I'll get to it eventually.
All right. And our guest JChip, are you a fan of God of War at all?
I've only played the first God of War game all the way through, and halfway through the second game, but the second one kept buffering, so I couldn't get past that. I eventually did get it fixed, but I just haven't had any motivation to finish that. But the only one I've completed was the first one. Other than that, I haven't played any of the other games in the series. I would like to, but someday I'll just gotta get through the second one.
All right. Chris, looks like not many people played this series all the way through. How about you? And what do you think about God of War? I know you like this game a lot.
I'm actually kind of surprised that nobody's really played it. Like that's shocking because I'm usually one that doesn't play anything, and everybody else usually plays. But this is
meant for you, man.
Yeah, this is definitely something I played. I actually played 1, 2. I dabbled in 3. I played the PSP games, both of them. I beat both the PSP games.
Wow.
And I think I beat 2, but I didn't finish 1. I forget which one has there's this chick at the end of it. There's this boss at the end. She's a girl throwing all kinds of crap at you, and it was hell to get through, literally hell. But I beat it. The PSP games, they're actually really, really good. I did not play them on the PSP though. There's an actual God of War. I think it has like all 4 in one pack.
Yeah.
And I bought that, and that's how I played the PSP games. I have not touched the new one. My son has the newer God of War, where he's aged and he has a son now. That I have not played. I saw a little bit of gameplay. But I don't like watching gameplay because, like, then when I see gameplay, then I'm like, okay, now I know exactly what's going to happen. So, anything God of War related, I tend to, like, not watch because I want to play it. God of War is very bloody. It's action-packed. Very, very bloody and adult-rated. Like, there's a lot of mature scenes in there. Don't let your little kid watch it.
No.
For sure. If you have a little kid at home, please don't let them see this game. What else can I say about it? It's just like graphically, as it progresses, it gets a lot better graphically, obviously, but that pretty much is typically what every game. Storyline's perfect, I think. I don't think they could change it much any. If they do, I don't think it would be that great, but like, their storyline is really written well. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Yeah, great. A lot of good input there. And yeah, I remember the sex scene where you're like pushing. You have to push buttons to like get through it, like hit X and circle and stuff.
Yeah, Dizzy, you're missing out, man.
Yeah, I see. I know. I hear that now. I got to check it out. It's on the backlog.
Yeah,
I guess it moved up on the backlog.
Yeah.
There's definitely a sex scene, and you do push buttons, and I think it's in more than one of these games actually. So
Yeah.
You can actually
Kratos
fail.
is-
Yeah, there's a sex scene in the second game.
Kratos is getting his thing, his groove on, man. Like,
Yeah.
Damn.
in every game, not just one. Just even I don't know about the old man game where he's got to work with the kid. You never know. I mean, he might get some ass on that game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a great series, guys. Like, if there's one game to play on the PlayStation, I would definitely put this high up on the list. It's definitely, it's only on Sony, so that's the reason alone to buy the PlayStation consoles. And the last one, the PS4 version, and it is slightly upgraded for the PS5. I think they're going to come out with a dedicated PS5 version, but it looks amazing. It looks like it transitions between like cutscenes, like from the movie scenes to the gameplay flawlessly. So it's really impressive. So yeah, you got to put it in. It's the game to put it in and show off your system and impress your friends. So highly recommend it. But yeah, all right, great, Chris. Thanks a lot. And that's it for Franchise of the Month, Red Label Edition.
Boo, bandana.
Yeah, boo.
Come
Never
on,
again. I'm
man.
doing Red Label Edition.
I'm just happy to have a copy in my collection. I could care less if it's a red box, a red label, a fucking green label. I have a copy.
I get the cheaper one, whichever's cheaper.
That's usually the green label.
Yeah.
All right. Now on to the meat and potatoes. We're gonna get to know who JChip is, what he does, what he collects, what he plays, what he's into, whatever you want to tell us, JChip. Now's the time.
Okay, hi, my name is JChip Show. I have a YouTube channel where I review anime and video games. As for my collecting, I mainly collect a lot of video games, and I dabble here and there with figures, not too much, but it's just something that I get if it looks cool. I am also a pretty big movie buff. I got a big Blu-ray collection for both anime and live-action movies, and it's been pretty fun collecting those. Yeah, and really that's about it for that collecting stuff. At least as far as games and what I like to play, I'm kind of all over the place. I like RPGs. I like action games. I like first-person shooters. And the only real, I guess, genre I'm not into is like RTS strategy games. It's just not my thing. But other than that, I'm pretty open to anything else.
All right, so you said you had a pretty big movie collection. What's your favorite movie?
Probably Dawn of the Dead, the original.
So you're a horror fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge horror fan.
That's awesome. What about game-wise? What's your favorite game?
My favorite game of all time is Resident Evil 2.
Horror
Funny
fan.
story about that actually is when I was a little kid, I had to have been like first or second grade, and I was playing Resident Evil 2 on the N64, and the one part where the liquor comes in, I remember dying so often to that thing, and then one day I finally beat him, and I was just so happy that I went up to my first grade teacher, and I was like, I killed a liquor today. And she was like, what?
Oh, you got that memory now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
geez.
yeah.
That's funny. Oh man.
That Dawn of the Dead Blu-ray is expensive too.
Oh, it is. But I got it.
Oh, is it? I'll have to check it out.
Oh, now you piqued his
Now you
interest.
doing movies?
Podcast pickups.
Oh,
Now you
man.
piqued his interest.
I just started thrift store and Blu-ray movies too.
I mean, movie collecting and game collecting kind of go hand in hand in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so JChip, so you played Resident Evil 2 on the N64. Is that your favorite version of Resident Evil 2, or?
It's definitely one of them. I think, like, nostalgia-wise, that's my favorite version, but the GameCube one is really good, too.
Yeah, I think typically most people shoot for the GameCube one than the N64 version.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's just surprising that the N64 version was able to have it all on one cartridge, complete with a CG cutscenes and voice acting. So that's kind of impressive, but I still prefer the GameCube one just because you can skip those cutscenes.
yeah, that is pretty impressive that they got it on the cartridges because usually with games like that, they just don't fit.
Two disc.
Right.
All right, Bones.
What's your go-to console for your shooters that you like to play?
Definitely Sega Genesis. I think the Sega Genesis has some of the best shooters of all time. Uh, Lightning Force is probably my favorite. Thunder Force 3 is really good too. Uh, and also the NES has a good shooters like Galaga, and I even like Silver Surfer.
Oh, Silver Surfer. Oh, nice. What about RPGs? Do you go to a different console, or is it the same thing? You go to Genesis for them as well?
Oh no, for RPGs it's got to be the PS1. Like the PS1, in my opinion, is like God for like RPGs. So many good games like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. Wild Arms is good. Chrono Cross is good. Persona 1 and 2 is really good on that system. There's so many RPGs on the PS1. It's insane.
Yeah, that's my go-to if I plan on it. It's so funny. You started with Final Fantasy 7. That's awesome. But so what you're telling all of us is you're not a fan of the Star Trek simulator games, huh? That's a pity. They do
No,
suck.
I'm not a big Star Trek guy. So
Star
what's,
Wars.
Go ahead, Chris.
Star Wars, JChip.
oh yeah, Star Wars over Star Trek any day.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, go ahead, Bones.
See, I like the new Star Trek movies, but we're not going to get into that whole hish bosh right now. What's your Blu-ray movie collection up to, count wise?
I'd say it's about 100 Blu-rays right now. If you count the anime and the live action, in total it's about 100. If you don't want to exclude anime, I'd say it's around like maybe 40 or 30. I haven't really counted.
Nice. Okay, I'll pass it on.
Dan.
Let's see. Well, first of all, you have really good taste. You cover a lot of consoles, a lot of genres. I applaud you for that. And movies, yeah, like we said, is really cool to collect. How far back in terms of retro do you go? You said you were in first grade when you were playing N64 Resident Evil 2. So there's probably a lot of games that came out before your time. So how far back do you collect? I guess.
Probably NES. I'm not a huge fan of like the Atari or the Intellivision. I have no. I'm not throwing shade at them. It's just not my thing, I think. But NES and then onward is pretty much my bread and butter. As far as systems, I guess I don't collect for within that time period would probably be Atari Jaguar or 3DO. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, well, when you get to the older consoles, like it's more nostalgia. It's not like replay value, so you're not missing much.
Right.
And are you as a collector? Do you like try to collect complete sets, or you just pick and choose things that you like or want to play?
Eventually, sometimes I like to get complete sets. Like recently, I got the 3 Siphon Filter games on PS1, just because I hear that's a cool game franchise. But sometimes I'll go into the PS2 section and be like, "Oh, hey, Maximo's pretty cool. I'll pick that game up."
Nice. And then in my notes, I remember we were chatting the other day. Something about we kind of hinted at it earlier with the Valley Hits and Green Label and the Red Label and all these things. And again, this is Bandana's territory, which she's not here. But I'm curious to your thoughts. Do you like? I think you said earlier you do not like the Valley Hit Label games. Is that correct?
I do not. I'm not a fan. And one of those is probably OCD, like just having the entire black label, and then suddenly you have like one green label. That would just bother the heck out of me.
But at least you have the game.
It's like on a yeah. I mean that's true. I mean if it's just like the greatest hits disc, I'm okay with it. But it's like most of the time, I mean, and you guys can relate too, as collectors, most of the time games just sit up on the shelf, and that's pretty much what they're going to be doing for almost their entire life. So it's like, I want something good to look at when I'm going through these games.
You got Dizzy right there. Dizzy's right on the same
Yeah.
page as you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I'm kind of anal when it comes to like the labels. Like I always want the original black labels if possible, and then when I get a red label or something, unless that version is better than the original version, but I always try to get them out of my collection or replace them pretty quickly.
I'll just take the disc and just put it in a black box.
See,
Oh, wow.
I'm getting rid of all that kind of stuff. I'm literally getting a proper case and manual for almost all of my stuff. Maybe not just if I already have a case, I might not go for a manual, but I want at least just an authentic case. I don't want to be picky and choosy at the way I collect anymore because it's just too expensive of a hobby. So sometimes you got to go with the green label, unfortunately.
Because it's just that much cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
And plus, you got guys like Video Game Death Sleeves that can just make you a black label sleeve, so you don't have to look at that ugly greenness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could.
I mean,
exactly.
I could do that, yes.
There's ways to hide that. Now,
I can hide all the
unfortunately,
green.
Hide it.
You'd
That
probably
sounds
still
bad.
cringe every time you slide it out, JChip, and you see that green label just smiling at you.
I mean, it's a price to pay. I'm not paying $300 for Silent Hill. I'll get the green label and just get a sleeve for it.
That's nice. Yeah. All right, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Dizzy, you're up.
Yeah, that Dawn of the Dead is expensive. I actually had to get the Italian Region B version just to have it, and that kind of goes with the zombie and the zombie flesh eaters franchise. You ever get into the zombie flesh eater movies?
No, not really. I'm only I haven't really seen any of the zombie flesh eater movies, but I'd like to. They seem pretty cool. I know one of them you got a zombie attacking a shark, so that's pretty. That sounds pretty appealing.
Yeah, they get pretty bad. Blu-rays collecting is something I do too. What about VHS? Like, how far back in physical media do you go on movies? You got a laser disc? or
It's
anything?
only Blu-ray. No, it's only Blu-ray. I actually did sell a bunch of my DVDs so I can upgrade them to Blu-ray. For me, I just like the clearer image.
Yeah.
I think it just looks nicer, and it's a smaller case, so it's better for space.
Yeah, you can buy more than the DVDs and VHS and fit them in the same place. Yeah, you're right about the video quality because you could actually see better background images in the Blu-rays, which I like. Sometimes it's like a brand new movie. What about like where
Right.
did you get started with gaming? Did it start with Nintendo, Atari? How far back did it start with you?
Well, I'm sorry to make you guys feel old, but I'm 25, so my first game console I ever had was the N64. I got
good
that
one.
through my brother, who gave it to me when I was little, even when I asked it, because he got a PS1, so he didn't want to do anything with the N64, so he just gave it to me. And yeah, it started with there. As far as like my interest in retro game collecting, I think that started back when I was in like middle school, because we just got the internet, and I was starting to get really big into like Freddy and Jason, Halloween, and stuff like that. So I was looking at stuff on YouTube, and one of the first channels I come across is Angry Video Game Nerd, who was reviewing the game, and even though he was shitting on it, I found that game to be fascinating, and I wanted to try it out.
Yeah, he was probably literally shitting on the game. But yeah, a lot of us started with Angry
He
Video
was.
Game Nerd. That's where it started for a lot of us. Because it just brought us back. Back in I think those times, mid 2000s, early 2000s, like we weren't seeing a lot of the retro games on television or anything. So like YouTube is what brought it back. Um, I love 64. I think a lot of people love the N64. What are good multiplayer games you liked on the 64?
Oh, definitely GoldenEye, Perfect Dark.
Oh yeah,
Huge wrestling fan, so the wrestling on 64 games are fantastic.
yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing's the best racing game on the 64, but Mario Kart's pretty good too.
So you say Diddy Kong over Mario Kart? Wow.
Oh yeah,
What about the GameCube Mario Kart? Did you like that one?
yeah. Double Dash is good.
Nice. I think my favorite now is the Wii version, and Chris actually gifted me that one, so thank you for that game, Chris. What about PlayStation 1? I know you said your brother had it and he kind of handed you down the 64. Did you ever get into the PS1 or PS1 games with your brother?
Yep. Um, another funny story. I remember one time my brother was going out and partying. He was a lot older than me, so he was partying with his friends, and he told me to not go in his room and play his PlayStation. Well, 6-year-old me had other plans, so I snuck into his room, and I played Resident Evil.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, he caught me, but that game, Resident Evil, like blew my mind because I was like, "Holy crap! This looks like a movie."
Yeah, that was brand new with the Resident Evil on PS1. I was right there, and you're right. Having it be like a movie is what drew you in, and like you were saying, it made you, sneak into your brother's room and start playing it. So that was a great one.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
eventually
about?
I did play the original Resident Evil all the way to completion as a kid, but that I'll never forget that first time playing it.
Are you like a big fan of the modern Resident Evil games?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Resident Evil franchise. It's probably my favorite franchise of all time. Like within gaming, movies, anime, like I'm just so into the lore and everything.
Do you still have those consoles like 64? Do you still have that one?
Yep, yep.
Nice. What about PS1? Did you go back and get a PS1 eventually?
Yep. Well, when I got a PS2, I mainly used that as my PS1, but I do have a PS1 now. It's only mainly for display because I just play all the PS1 games on my PS2.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm a huge PS2 guy. What are some of your favorite PS2 games?
Oh, oh man, uh, God of War 1 was pretty good. Um, I'm a huge fan of the Persona series, and Persona 4 is my favorite on the franchise. Silent Hill 2 is great. Metal Gear Solid 3 is really good. I really like Onimusha, and Destroy All Humans is pretty fun.
Yeah, I got 1 and 2 on that. What's the oldest console you got right now?
The NES.
Oh, regular NES, man. 8-bit is great.
Yep.
What's a good NES title that you beat on the NES? Because I haven't really beat too many NES games or NES hard. Is there any games that you've beat already on that?
I beat a few. I went through Back to the Future pretty recently, and I kind of liked it. It wasn't too bad, but the one NES game I really liked was Blaster Master, just because of how versatile that game is. Like you're in a tank, you can get out and shoot people. Then it goes like on a top-down view. I really like that style.
Man, those are great answers. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I'm glad you like those old school consoles. Even though, like you said, you're a little bit younger, it's always cool, when younger generations are able to play those, especially NES games. So, yeah, those are the questions I had.
Yeah.
Great answers.
Yeah, NES is not typically the easiest console to play either, because you just die.
No.
You just die and die and die and die some more.
No, no. I mean, you look up on how long to beat, and it's like, oh man, this game's like 10 minutes. Oh man, and then you're playing it, and it's like, man, it's like 5 hours past.
Yeah, it
Trying
turns
to
into
finish the
5
third level.
hours.
True, true. And you die like a gazillion times, and then you try again from the
Yep.
beginning. From the beginning.
That was me with Adventure Island.
All right, JChip.
Still haven't beaten Adventure Island, but someday I will.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, going to me as a younger person getting into retro, what's your guys' take on that? A younger person getting into retro gaming, or not even just retro gaming, but like older music, movies, stuff like that.
I really like it because to me it's like the new generation gets to listen to what we listened to back then and see the difference of what maybe the modern music is. And to me, especially on the gaming, I love it when the younger generation goes back because to me, a lot of the modern gamers, like, they don't, it's like anything, music, anything, like, they don't understand where it came from. Like, I like to see kids go back and see where it came from, like, because it also shows respect. Like, even when you go back to Atari, which nobody's might be playing, but you see where it all started from, you get to respect it even more, especially Nintendo. If you go back to the regular 8-bit NES, you respect how far they've gotten to still be making, consoles modern day. You get to see where the controller started, it was wired, but now look at it, the Switch, it's all wireless, you know and it's showing respect to me. Like, a lot of modern gamers, they've never played NES or Super Nintendo, and to me that's kind of weird. Like, if this is your profession, what you do now, like, how could you not understand the history or go back and play these games? Like, understand it. Some of these older games were a lot harder than the new games are now. Like, and that should show us older retro gamers. That should show us respect because it's not an easy game like the new ones may be. It took us hours and hours to kind of learn that game, and sometimes years to even figure out how to beat the game. So it shows respect to the console where it started, and it also shows the retro gamers, give them respect because it's not as easy as it is now. So I like seeing that kind of stuff. And the same thing with my kid. Like, I taught her about the 2600 before she played NES, and then after she played NES, moved her to Super. Right now, she's playing Pokemon Snap on the 64. So, I like the younger generation to understand the history, understand where it came from, so they could try to preserve it for the next generation after them. So I love that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Dizzy. Same thing. You want to preserve. You want them to understand. Like, without what we had before, you guys would have never got what they have now. So, and as far as like modern goes, like modern games today, they're more like hand holders compared to what we had back then. They hold your hand. They tell you what buttons you have to press. They move you forward. There's no strategy. You don't figure it out. Like, it's usually hand holding, one to the next. So having an appreciation for going forward, you have to go backwards first to learn where it came from. I mean,
Yeah.
and that goes for everything, not only games but music, movies, because like,
Mm-hmm.
why would you watch like something that says 4 when you haven't watched the first one? So
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense chronologically. Like, you have to watch the first movie before you watch the fourth movie, right? So, and the biggest thing is like preserving, because like, without us older people showing the newer generation what we had growing up, how would they ever know? Like, how would you know like Final Fantasy or Resident Evil came out a long time ago unless you looked it up or unless somebody told you? If you're a new gamer coming into the gaming scene, Resident Evil, the newest one, is the one you're probably the only one you know. I mean, yeah, that leads into like companies releasing older games on newer consoles. To an extent, that's great because then it gives you the younger generation a little taste of what we played back in the day. So that's my little take on it. Dan or Bones?
I would say you want to be thrifty in your collecting. That's going to be your main goal because everything that's considered pop from 80s, 90s, 2000s now is fairly expensive anymore. So our hobbies in general are quite expensive. It is nice to see somebody still younger continuing to hold on to these items just for the sole fact that they're not ending up in the trash and they're still loved and adored. That it is part of, like they said, history.
Yes, please don't throw your games in the trash. Please
Oh.
do not throw your games in the trash.
It is a wormhole though, JChip. Like I ended up buying a laser disc and shit, so like, you can get into a wormhole collected. But yeah, it is nice to see younger generations continuing to want to hold on to the physical media. Because I had a talk with Chris about this recently. Said to him, the market's flooded with all fakes and reproductions, and our generations are going to only be the last that are going to have more of the authentic out there. Than now the market's being flooded with fake old shit, but this is the last of the authentic for the most part. Physical media is dying out. So your CDs, your VHS, that's all past. So that physical media is something to be sought after. And it's nice to see younger people enjoying the same way that we do.
Yep.
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everybody what they said, and I really applaud you and the younger generations who, are willing to go back and give the older games a chance that are before your time. I think today's gamers sometimes they get spoiled because they have such great, hardware to work with and such great graphics and great high production value, and they kind of expect that for every game. And if a game doesn't give that, they tend to think that's a bad game. But
Yeah, well, we even had that back then, though. Like, when Nintendo, anything that came out, that was state of the art. So
yeah. So I mean, so my advice would be like when you go back and look at some of these old games, to definitely keep in mind the context of when that hardware came out and how limited it was. Like the Atari, even like it was so few, pixels and colors available at the time, but they still made a decent game out of that limited, capacity of this hardware. So, and it was still fun, So, and that's hard to do. And I think that some of that art has been lost with the newer games and stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's great that you're going back and appreciating some of the older games. I think I get really frustrated when I try to introduce old games to some of the younger generation. They're like, "Oh no, that looks boring," or "That's those games look terrible," or especially like I have kids and everything has to have a touchscreen. Like they're so used to having a touchscreen and using a controller seems archaic to them. So it's definitely a challenge to sometimes appreciate the older stuff. So whenever I see people appreciating it, it makes me happy.
Yeah, now I understand that Back to the Future
Nice.
2, when the kid says, "You gotta hold it," that's like a baby's toy.
Yeah.
That's where we're going with it.
Guys, I grew up with rotary phones where you did the one tick 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 to
Oh,
three.
yeah, me
we
too.
all did.
It-
But
it-
JChip's the only
your-
one that probably doesn't know what that is.
Your car can park itself
Yeah.
now. Think about that. Your car can park yourself now. Times have changed.
Mhm.
Definitely has. Any other questions, JChip? Good question, by the way.
Oh
Yeah, I've got two more questions if that's okay.
That's fine. Yep.
I'm a pretty big movie buff, so I'll ask you guys, what's your favorite movie based on a video game?
It's gonna be mine is Super Mario Bros. Even though not a lot of people, and it might even be the younger generation that doesn't like it. I seen that we rented it right when it came out, on tape because everybody wanted to see that movie. It was the first of its kind. I think now people looking back out of it, looking back at it, they expected more, but it was the first of its kind. Nobody had ever did a video game related movie, so just us able to get that little bit of Mario and Luigi and different, Mario Brothers named characters, like at the time in the 90s, that was enough for us. I think after, the movie kind of disappeared and people re-picked it up and saw it again, they might not have liked it, but back then it was good. To me, at least.
Bones.
Well, if they would have made a Puppet Master video game, that would have definitely been the movie I would have picked. But since they never made that game, which I think is a good idea, game developers, I'm gonna go with The Evil Dead.
Oh, good one.
That definitely is gonna be that. That's got to be my pick for movie ones. Because even though there's a lot of movie-based games out there, I think The Evil Dead's the one that jumps out to me the most.
Damn.
Is that the PS1?
PS2 and Xbox it was on is the one
Yep.
I played.
Nice.
Damn.
For me, it was a tough one. I mean, back in the day, I really liked, I was really into Tomb Raider, and I was really happy to see them make a Tomb Raider movie with Angelina Jolie. But looking back, I don't think it really did the game as much justice as I
It
thought.
was alright. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Man, I mean,
I was
let me
happy
ask
with it.
this. Were you into the source material, or were you into Angelina Jolie?
But I was really a huge Tomb Raider fan, so I thought that was great casting at the time, and
Okay.
yeah. So I mean,
Great casting.
yeah. So with a big star, so I thought that was a good adaptation. But I mean, then I can see, looking back, I'm like, I can see where people may not have issues with that, but it's cheesy and whatever. But the other movie that I really enjoyed, it's not really a game based on a movie, but it's not a movie based on a game, but it's Wreck-It Ralph, because they had so many callbacks to old classic video games in there. So I really enjoyed that movie a lot.
Nice.
For me, I think, didn't Silent Hill come out with a movie?
Yeah,
Yep.
I was
They came
gonna,
up with two.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mentioned it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really big into Silent Hill. I unfortunately don't have any of the games though, so that kind of sucks. But hey, I'll get them eventually. I got too many games to play anyway.
Yeah. I think for me, my favorite video game movie, I really enjoyed the Sonic movie that came out recently.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was a good movie. Jim Carrey.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to the sequel, and I hope that one's good. But recently, me and a friend, Zombie GLT, if you guys know who he is, we did a watch long for The Wizard. And I don't know, I kind of enjoyed that movie, even though it can be kind of corny in here and there, but I thought it was a fun movie.
Well, that's just like Mario. Disney mentioned Mario. Like, that's not the best Mario movie because that's the only Mario movie. But you know what I mean.
So far, there's another one coming out.
Yeah.
I think though.
Yeah, I heard.
Yep. Chris Pratt's going to be Mario. That should be interesting.
You know what sucked about the Mario movie, Dizzy?
Goombas.
Besides the Goombas, it wasn't Princess Peach. It was Daisy.
Oh yeah, going for Luigi
Like
instead of Mario.
what the hell was that? This is the first Mario movie ever, and you come up with Daisy?
Yeah.
It's not different enough already.
Yeah, like they didn't create the whole world completely different from the gaming, but like you did Daisy instead of Peach. Why? Like I still to this day don't get that.
I think if you look at the end credits, there's an end scene. But I think they were probably trying to make a part 2, but part 1 just never took off, so they never did it.
And
I think part 2 they probably would have did Princess Peach.
Even funnier than that, Mario's girlfriend was not even Peach.
Nah, it was just some regular lady.
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Oh man. The reason why I know I like it's clear as day right now is because I just watched that movie with my daughter, And she was like, "Oh, is that Peach?" I said, "Nah, no, that's not Peach."
Same thing. I
Yep,
went to that too.
yep. All right, next question, JChip.
All right, my last question is when you're going out collecting games, do you look for the quality of the game or do you want a quantity of them? So like are you only looking for one specific game that you think will have the highest quality in terms of gameplay, music, everything like that? Or do you want a quantity of like different games with various difference of quality?
Well, I can answer for everybody in here.
Give it a shot, Chris.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
can answer probably for
Give
three
it a shot.
three out of four of us because I know Dizzy doesn't collect everything. I think he collects what he wants to play. The rest
Pretty
of
much,
us,
yeah.
the rest of us collect everything from the crappiest game to the best game out there. That hands down, we grab it all.
That's history preservation, though.
And for me, mine is not only on the shelf, but I actually do play every shitty game that I have. So I played everything from Babysitting Mama all the way up to anything on the PlayStation 4 that I currently own.
For me, let me just go next. For me, it's true. I collect a lot of things now, but up until not that long ago, I really only collected what I wanted to play. So my collection was never about completing stuff. It was always like quality over quantity. But then I ran into these guys on this podcast and started hanging around
Oh,
them.
here we go. Play the
And then
playing game.
and then I got to a point where I pretty much had everything I wanted. I didn't really want to get everything, and then I ran into these guys and got to meet more people in the community and everything. And then anything was up for grabs.
Dan, I do not hold your hand and
Me
walk
neither.
you over to
Me
the
neither.
dollar bin when we
Oh,
go
hold
out
up, hold up.
hunting, okay?
Hold up. So the thing with Dan is, if you mention something and it even slightly piques his interest, he'll get it. So like
Yeah.
I mentioned Monster Party in the previous podcast a while ago when we first started doing this, and I was like, "Oh man, you gotta play this game. It's really good." It's on the NES. I've had it since I was a kid. I played the hell out of it. I sucked at it for a long time, and I haven't been back to it as an adult. And I want to go back and play. I just haven't had a chance. But as soon as I said that, Dan was like, the next day, I got it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely take suggestions from people, and that's the whole podcast pickups thing. But yeah, I mean, I definitely use everyone here as inspiration because I mean I haven't played every game and I don't know, and I used to be pretty picky and choosy about what to play, and I do play most of the games that I get. I try to at least. But the one thing I will say that I don't do, and Bones and Chris know this, is like I'm not really into collecting. I don't want to collect all the sports games and stuff. So I don't feel the need to go out and get like every year's worth of Madden and baseball and stuff like that. So that even though it gets really cheap and like $1 or something, I don't feel the need to go grab all that stuff.
Well, for me, I used to be more of a quantity. I still pick up a fair amount when I decide to pick up, but it's more quality now. It's not as much of the quantity. I do collect the sports games as well. It's stuff you find out thrifting. It comes in bulk lots. You end up acquiring them, so you can either just get rid of them or keep a copy in your collection. So I keep a copy in my collection. But other than that, it's turned into more quality. There's no more bulk lots being bought. There's still some sports games I'll find like out thrifting that I don't have, and like I said, I'll add one copy to the collection. But other than that, no, it's definitely quality. That's part of the reason why I'm going for anything that's loose disc, that's not an obscure console that costs $600 for a gaming box. I'm gonna get the original box for it, and that's what I've been currently doing. So it definitely has made my collection more quality than quantity for sure.
With me, I wouldn't even really call it quality over quantity because I got shitty games too. For me, it's pretty much if it's a game that I'll eventually play, not even just to beat it, but just, if it looks like it's something I'd want to play for at least 10, 20 minutes, I'll buy it. Especially if it's really cheap. If it's really cheap, I'll buy the filler. At the thrift stores, you're not gonna always see the huge expensive games. You might see the really, games you haven't heard of, but they're really cheap price, maybe 99 cents, $2. I'll pick it up. It ends up being filler, but if it looks like it's something I'll play, I'll pick it up. But with me, like, and a lot of times nowadays, just to get games for cheap, you gotta buy lots, like on eBay. There might be one game that you want to buy, but it's really expensive on its own. But if you buy this lot, you get it for a better price, and you get other games with it. So, there'll be a lot of filler if you want to grow a collection, but that sometimes that's how you got to do it. But with me, it's not even about the games because I'm also collecting other physical media like movies, vinyl records. Like I got VHS right here on one side, DVD. I got Blu-ray, vinyl. Got my wife's Funko Pop. So I'm not gonna just buy any game out there. But I wouldn't call it quantity over quality because I get bad games too.
Nice. I think for me, I'm definitely more into the quality of the game, but if there's a lot of games and they all look interesting, I'll probably pick them up. Um, what I do recently now to kind of combat like game prices is if I'm at a garage sale and I see a box of games and they're all super cheap, and if they're games there I don't want, I'll still buy them. And I usually just trade them in at my local game store to get trade-in credit to get a game cheaper. Um, that's pretty much what I will do for getting games cheaper. But there's kind of a fun factor when you're going out buying a game and you have no idea what it is, because it could either be one of the greatest games you've ever played, or it could be one of the worst games you've ever played.
Right, it could be a hidden gem that you never heard of, and there's plenty of those out there. There's a plenty of games. There's
Yep.
millions of games that I probably don't even know what they are. So, um, definitely is the thrill of the hunt. That's what we would call it. Um, and me personally, we do go Bones, myself and Dan. We all go game hunting sometimes together. It's been a while, but we used to do it, and we have this loop, and that's where we go out and we go to, like, I think there's like 3 retro stores and a couple of thrift stores that we hit up, and it's just the thrill of the hunt, basically searching through all the games, seeing what you could find, seeing what you haven't seen yet, and probably picking it up, because that's typically what happens. You pick up a game that you have never seen before.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, anything, anybody?
Nope. I had a really fun
I'm
time,
good.
and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, good. Definitely come back. Topic podcast from now on, since you've been the introductions over with. And matter of fact, since you're into anime, we have one coming up. There's a topic podcast coming up for that. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, I'll let you know when that comes around, because the guys in here probably don't know much about anime, but the guy that I'm doing the podcast for knows a shit ton about anime. So, it would be very helpful to have you there.
We need more people with knowledge about animes.
Yeah, I'll definitely show up for that.
Yeah, it's Dad Level. Dad Level is the creator behind that one. Dad Level, it would be you now, and I think Bandana has knowledge of anime, so pretty much them talking and us laying back. I mean, besides me asking the questions, like, other than that, it's them discussing it. But thank you again for coming on. Appreciate it. It was nice getting to know you.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, I'm glad you came. It's a great
Yeah, yeah.
introduction.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, so
Still a shame that Bandana Gamer couldn't show up, because that would have been fun.
yeah.
The double B.
All right, let's finish it off with the game of the month. Bones, game of the month.
Well, since we were talking about it, I'm going to say Evil Dead. That's going to be my game of the month. I like that.
Dan,
What system is that on, Bones?
Xbox and
PS2
PlayStation 2.
and Xbox. There's two copies too. There's two different versions. I think one's called Resurgence or Regeneration or something. It's the second one. I haven't played it. I have it though.
Okay. Yeah, I never played that. My game of the month is just because it just came out is Elden Ring.
Dizzy,
My game of the month is The Godfather for PS2.
and JChip.
My game of the month is Cold Fear for the PS2.
Nice.
And since this was the only franchise I knew anything about, no, I'm just kidding. God of War is my game of the month.
God of War.
Yeah. Yeah, you slayed that franchise.
I put my dagger in it. All right. Again, I want to thank you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, don't blow, just sleeve. Later.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Over that greatest hits.
Greatest hits is for everybody.
Leave it.
All right, go ahead, Bones.
Skittles taste the rainbow.
Dan,
Yeah, test 1, test 1, test 2.
Dizzy.
Mic check, no echo this time.
You sound a lot better this time. Last time, I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, I could tell.
JChip.
Yo, let's rock.